Another week in New Zealand and 5 weeks down. We are currently in Taupo, and here is a picture of what we were supposed to be doing today, but it is -1 degrees Celsius with 20-mile-per-hour winds, and it's raining. So instead, we found something else.
Oh my. This is fun. This is fun.
Bye.
Our plan for this week was to go camping and hiking through some of the great walks that they have on the North Island, and unfortunately,
Mother Nature did not agree with our plans this week.
so we started out, we left Mahia, which is the very east coast, and we started working inland to Waikara Moana. So we started hiking, and we realized that our campsite was further away than we had anticipated. It was going to take us longer, so it was going to be really late at night before we actually made it to our campsite, and it had started to rain and wasn't going to let up. So we ended up having to turn around just to be smart, and we looked at the weather when we got back to the car and realized that the rain wasn't stopping for like the next couple of days. So instead of going to our next campsite, we headed straight to Taupo, which was like a 5-hour drive. And basically everything that could go wrong on the drive did. It was heavy rain the entire time. It was getting dark when we started the drive, so the entire drive was dark. Everything was shut down, so like no restrooms, no food. We just had to drive. No gas stations. Luckily we had enough gas, but
there's a tree down in the road.
Yeah, there's a tree down the road, so we had to detour another 20 minutes on top of a long drive. And we got to Taupo, and luckily they had a countdown that was open until 11 p.m. and we were able to get some Ben & Jerry's ice cream, which saved the day.
So basically after that night, we were thinking, okay, if this rain doesn't let up, we're going to have to do something else. So Tuesday night rolls around. Unfortunately, rain didn't let up, but we hadn't found anywhere to stay. So we camped again, and the rain stopped for about half of the night, which at least kept the tent a little bit more dry. But it didn't stop in the morning. It came down once again. We thought we have got to find some kind of option, and luckily Mrs. B pulled through for us, and they hosted us and were absolute wonderful people, and we cannot thank them enough for taking us in and giving us somewhere to stay outside of the rain, and that was a lifesaver. The last thing we had planned for the week was to go down the Wanganui River, which is the third great walk that we were going to do on the North Island. But this great walk is not on land, it's the river. And the plan was you take a jet boat and they drop you off at a certain point and you canoe down to your campsite, and then day 2 you canoe back to the starting point to your car. Well, because of all of this rain we've mentioned, the river rose 9 meters. So they would not allow us to canoe the first day like we were supposed to because it was an unsafe level, which was a bummer, but we also appreciated because, you don't want to get swept down the river. So we did get to do the jet boat the first day, but instead of taking us on to the further point for us to canoe down, they just dropped us off at our campsite. Well, right as we're getting off of the jet boat, our guide, who is a local Maori, said, "Have you guys ever received a local Maori welcome?" And we're like, no. What are you talking about? And he's like, "Well, you're going to be staying on a marae, so you're going to get a local, authentic welcome from a Maori person." And we were kind of blindsided, but really excited about what this could mean. So we go up the hill and we get our tent set up.
Close your eyes with me. Start imagining.
He comes to get us for the greeting, and before he starts the greeting, he lets everyone know the purpose behind it. And the way that they explained it to us is, if you've seen the movie Avatar, he compared it to that, where you have to go through their welcoming ceremony in order for them to see you. So it's kind of like you're not fully welcomed onto their sacred land or fully seen as a welcomed visitor until you've gone through the ceremony. Enter through this archway and you come into this grounds area, and our host, his name was Michael, our host is there, and he begins doing chants in the native Maori language, and we as the guests sit on these pews, and once he's done speaking in his language, a member from each group, so Josh was the lead member of our group, stands up and responds in kind with a welcome from our people. And then the females of the group sing a song, whatever song that he said. Sometimes they've done
The Yellow Submarine.
The Yellow Submarine. It can be a Christmas song. So very fortunately for me, there were some other females there, so this wasn't a solo singing thing. And we did a Christmas song. But once we're done singing, we all go to the center and we contribute something to the ancestors of the Maori people, because the way they explain it is he's not just greeting us to the sacred land, he's welcoming us from all of their ancestors, is how they view it. So they ask you to offer something to the ancestors as a thank you for allowing you on their land. Well, we didn't know we had to take something. So he tells us that he gives us about 5 minutes to get prepared for the ceremony. So we go looking in the tent because we just came down a river, so we don't really have much with us. So Josh gives
I gave out a Cliff Bar. I don't remember. I think the flavor was chocolate brownie.
Yeah. And we had some playing cards, so I gave a playing card. Kind of felt bad that we didn't have something better to offer, but we didn't know this was coming. Turned out pretty great though, because after the other group that was there also didn't know that that was a part of it, so they also contributed various snack items.
Crackers, bananas, all the goods.
Yeah, so when Michael went to pick up all of the contributions to his ancestors, he chuckled a little, and it gave us all a little laugh. But the very end of the ceremony, once he's welcomed you and we've done our part in the ceremony, you go up and you shake his hand and you tap each other twice on each other's noses. And that is the civilized way to be welcomed onto the marae.
So we ended up the next day getting up and canoeing down the river about 20 kilometers to our ending point. But it was really cool because there were waterfalls coming from both sides of the canyon that we were in, which was really pretty to look at as we were canoeing down. So the rain ended up, providing us with some aesthetic pleasure along the way.
Oh, for love, we can change the stars with our hands and hearts, make them shine on us. But no, don't worry,
Sometimes you make plans, and sometimes Mother Nature just will not agree with those plans. But that doesn't mean that it can't be a fun week and you can't find other things to do that provide wonderful memories.
Obviously, we have some sunshine today, so hopefully that remains for the rest of the week coming up. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. 'Timid moments as Bear gets into the boat. Will she flip? Or will she stay afloat? It looks like she'll get eaten by bugs. She's gonna try another method. Oh yeah, look at her go.
The time is over.